Exclusive.
Hey, Red Eye, I'm Michiel Huisman, and you can see me in a movie, The Age of Adeline, that opens April 24th. Check it out.
This movie, of course, deals with a woman who doesn't age. Which do you think would be a better situation to be in? Not aging or aging backwards like Benjamin Button?
Yeah, you'd think that not aging is better. Maybe between the two it actually is. But obviously in our movie, not aging turns out to be a burden, a curse.
So why would you automatically assume that it's better than aging backwards?
Well, because I thought Benjamin Button was quite a sad story, so it's kind of sad to age backwards.
What's the best use of that time? If someone wakes up and is like, wow, I don't age, totally understandable you don't want to be operated on, but what would be the best use of that time?
Well, I don't know, but I know what I would do. I would try to live on every continent of the world for an extended amount of time. Let's say 10 years. Yeah.
Including Antarctica?
Yeah. Yeah, you have all the time in the world. Just do everything, yeah.
What do you want to do in Antarctica?
I don't know. Just, think.
What's something magical that you wanted to happen to you at any time in your life?
Oh, my God. What I wish to happen to me?
Yeah. Even as a kid or something when, everyone as a child wants something to happen.
I always wished that I could play guitar as well as Jimi Hendrix. It would be pretty magical if it still happens.
You're just hoping to wake up and have that ability?
Yeah. No, but I worked on that too, I just think that I will never get there. Let me rephrase that. I know that I will never get there. But that would be magic.
How many times, you're married now, of course, how many times in your life have you written a song for or sung for a love interest?
Yeah, maybe a couple of times. But there's one time that I was really successful. And that, that turned out to be a song for the girl that turned out, became my wife.
Can you say what the song was or what the circumstances were of that
Of
performance?
course, I can tell you. So, I used to, talking about being persistent, my character in the movie is persistent in pursuing Adeline. It wasn't so much of a stretch for me. I went after my wife for like 5 years. It took me 5 years to convince her of the fact that she's tried to hang out with me or something. And it wasn't until we'd go out on dates and have very romantic evenings, but nothing would happen. And at some point I wrote a song about that, and then when I told her about that, this was in Amsterdam, so she was sitting on the back of my bicycle. I was riding the bike through the city. We were going somewhere, and I told her, I wrote this song about that one night that we went to the beach, and she was like, oh, okay, good. So I sang the song, and in it, it's very much about how I wished that I had the guts to tell her what I felt for her and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So then she was, oh, really? And, that night we shared our first kiss, and we've been together for 10 years. So.
You said that you've been surprised when people come up to you and say that they're fans of particular shows. Can you think of a specific example of like, oh, you don't look like a Nashville fan at all, or why? What made you say that?
Well, I guess it's you always have that when someone comes up to me. First of all, I find it very flattering and very cool that people generally express that they liked something I was in. But just for fun, I kind of, in that awkward moment after they initially say, are you the guy from? And then I have like a beat to think like, okay, she's going to say Nashville or Black or whatever. And I turn out to be wrong almost all the time. I guess it shows that I really can't tell who's watching what, But apparently people are seeing the stuff I work on.
It would help if
that's pretty cool.
It would help if Game of Thrones fans just wore like Game of Thrones attire all the time.
That would help. I would love that, or a button or something. No, and the thing with Game of Thrones is obviously the biggest show and the most popular show I've worked on, and so you'd think that that's always going to be the one. It's not necessarily always the one, you know.
I know someone mentioned to you earlier about Anna Kendrick's tweet where she said Madonna kissed Drake, Hillary's running for president, but HBO still hasn't shown this dude's dick. Hashtag feminist priority. You know, I know you're looking forward to Pitch Perfect 2. If Anna Kendrick were in the room, how would you kind of respond to that tweet directly? What would you say?
I would not really respond to that. I'd be like, okay.
Thanks for tweeting about my junk. That was...
Yeah, very cool.
I guess there's really not much you can say to that.
No, of course not. No.
It seems like you're very versatile with your accents, really impressive with the work that you've already done so far. Would you be able to kind of demonstrate going from one accent to another? Like, could you knock out 5 accents in a row?
No, because I don't really consider myself an accent expert. But, like, you know, if I just think of my dad, then he would sound a little bit like this, because he's Dutch, you know. So this is what I used to sound like before I started working with my dialect coach. It's kind of cool to realize.
And that got rid of your accent entirely, so now...
well, thank you. But I mean, when I'm having a conversation like this, it's harder for me to stick with whatever general American sound I try to achieve at some point, you know. But it's one of the cool things about, for me, crossing the pond and starting over in English. It's just, at first it was very alienating, you know. Like when I started working on Treme, which was my first job in the U.S., I felt like there was always a little bit of a distance between myself and my thoughts and the actual words that came out. Just because probably they weren't the words that I used as a kid or my mom used, you know. It's like, it took me a couple of years before I, not only, you know, working on the dialect with a coach, but also before I started thinking in English and dreaming in English, you know.
So what's the solution to that? Just time?
I think time. For me, time, constantly working on it, which trains your ear, and spending time in the U.S., you know, that really helped.
In a hypothetical world, what's another show that you'd love to make an appearance on, and one that probably wouldn't make sense for you to be on?
I was obsessed with Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah?
And it doesn't really make sense for me to join that show right now.
You said that, you know, you tell yourself that people won't be seeing the work that you do as like a way of calming nerves or becoming more comfortable with like the stuff you're working on. As you do more, do you feel like those nerves subside, or why is that helpful for you to, unless you were entirely kidding when you said that you pretend that people don't actually get to see what you do?
No, I wasn't really I wasn't killing anyone at that point. Great, right? That accent. Yeah, I love it. Anyway, no, I wasn't kidding. It just kind of takes you out of the world that you're trying to be in when you're playing a scene, right? You're trying to, I mean, it's hard work to kind of think away all those 200 people or 40 people, whatever the crew is that are around behind the camera. So to then also think about, okay, whatever I'm doing now is going to be seen by a million people. It doesn't really help my performance. But, you know, on a movie, that's easier to a certain extent because you're still shooting something. There's the promise of, you know, that it might turn out to be a good movie, but you never know, and it takes a year before it comes out. When you're working on a show like Game of Thrones, it's kind of obvious by now that people are going to be seeing what you're doing. So it takes more effort to let that go, you know.
I've actually never seen Game of Thrones.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not. I know, I'm the one guy.
God, get out of here. so done with it. No.
Can you summarize for me in 10 words or less? Catch me up on the show.
Well, that's almost impossible. You know that, right?
Of course.
Are you kidding me? You have seen the show, right?
No, I really haven't.
All right. Okay. Well, I think it's an epic. It's an epic story that takes place in a fantasy medieval Europe, I'd say, and it's about.
Okay, got a couple words left. Go.
It's about power, and yeah.
That was good. Now I am intrigued.
Thank you. In our movie, not aging turns out to be a burden, a curse.
So why would you automatically assume that it's better than aging backwards?
Well, because I thought Benjamin Button was quite a sad story, so it's kind of sad to age backwards.
What's the best use of that time? If someone wakes up and is like, wow, I don't age, totally understandable you don't want to be operated on, but what would be the best use of that time?
Well, I don't know, but
Exclusive.
Hey, Red.
Aging backwards like Benjamin Button.
Yeah, you'd think that not aging is better. Maybe between the two, it actually is. But obviously, I'm Michiel Huisman, and you can see me in a movie, The Age of Adeline, that opens April 24th. Check it out.
This movie, of course, deals with a woman who doesn't age. Which do you think would be a better situation to be in? Not aging or aging?